It's NFL time, kids, and there are a lot of former Vols that are going to be a factor in this upcoming football season. Caleb wrote about them, and we'll start a poll question. Who is your favorite former Vol in the NFL? I'll go ahead and get that set up. But give me the first couple of guys that are in action in this weekend because the season starts tonight.
Yes, we have the Ravens tonight are playing the Chiefs, I believe, right? Is that the right? Did I get the game right for tonight?
I've been up since 4 a.m. writing. I don't know.
Yeah, I do believe.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, so there are a sorry, I'm just double checking this real quick.
Yeah, let's go ahead and confirm.
Yes. It's the Ravens and the Chiefs. I apologize. And there are a couple former Vols in the game, most notably the star of all of them, Trey Smith is in the game tonight for the Chiefs. And he is very high on the list, so I got to save him because we're talking Trey Smith. Guys,
absolutely. And he is going to be on our poll question for your all-time or your favorite Vol in the NFL. Trey is going to be on there. I can't wait for him to get paid because he hasn't yet. He had the blood clot issue, got a small contract. So that's what I'm looking for is Trey Smith to get paid because he's probably not 100% financially independent for his life, but he's playing like it. So, all right. So we're going to count down these lists. Do you want to start at number 10?
Yeah, I want to first say there are three former. This list was tougher than it's been in years. Tennessee's starting to get better represented in the NFL, way more than they have in the last 12 years. So that's a good sign for them. And that the reason that sign is good is because there's three quarterbacks on NFL rosters from Tennessee this year: Dave Hendon Hooker, Joe Milton, and Josh Dobbs. I can't remember when there's been three quarterbacks on NFL rosters from Tennessee, but none of them are on this list because none of them are starting. Shows how deep Tennessee is in the pros this year. So number 10 is Jalen Hyatt. Now, Tennessee's turning back into wide receiver U because Jalen Hyatt, Cedric Tillman, Josh Palmer, Velus Jones, and Juwan Jennings are all in the pros. Palmer had the best year last year with 585 yards receiving. Tillman and Hyatt both had in the 300s. I think one of them's bound to break out this year, and I think it's Jalen Hyatt. I think the Giants are really invested in Jalen Hyatt, so I think they're going to go all in. By the way, a couple other pass catchers in the pros, Princeton Fant and Jakob Johnson, are also returning NFL players, but of all those pass catchers, I think Jalen Hyatt's going to have the biggest year, and so he's on the list.
Okay, so poll question, who is your fave VFL in the NFL? Trey Smith, Hendon Hooker, Jalen Hyatt, Alvin Kamara. That's the group I went with. That's the quattro. All right, who's next on VFLs in the NFL?
All right, call me crazy, David. This is a full-on projection. I got Jalen Wright in my top 10. I think Jalen Wright's going to be an all-rookie running back with the Dolphins. I think he's a perfect fit. There are a couple other running backs from Tennessee right now in the pros, but as far as the rookies going to teams, Joe Milton I mentioned, there's Kamal Haddon, Ramel Keaton, McCallan Castles, all going to teams. I think Jalen Wright's going to be the best rookie from Tennessee this year, and I'm seeing like all rookie team, maybe 1,000 all-purpose yards. He's in such a good fit at Miami.
Hey now.
Agreed. And I love that coach there and what he does with that offense. I'll go ahead and tell you, he'll rush for 1,000 yards this year. Who's next?
All right, number 8, underrated. Tennessee's got a few defensive tackles in the pros right now, and Matthew Butler and Kendall Vickers, but Shy Tuttle starting for Carolina. He started each of the last 3 years, two for New Orleans, one for Carolina. He's with Carolina again this year. He's not in the greatest situation, but I'm sorry. I love those defensive tackles that are regular starters in the pros that, they don't rack up a lot of stats, but they're so valuable to their teams.
And he hasn't fallen on a helmet in the NFL either.
He hasn't fallen on a helmet. That is very true.
There you go. Boy, Butch, you're a special guy.
You suck, you jackass.
All right. Who's next?
Dave, you're going to laugh at me, but I have him on my list every year, and I'm going to have him on my list until he retires. The greatest long snapper in NFL history.
Oh, my
Morgan Cox is on here. And by the way, Justin Tucker's widely considered the best kicker of all time, right?
Yeah. Okay.
He had his worst season. He had his worst season last year. The first season ever that Morgan Cox wasn't snapping for him. You know this, Dave. Long snappers make kickers more than people really give them credit for. Morgan Cox made Justin Tucker a good kicker. Morgan Cox made Justin Tucker.
A little bit of a reach, but I'll give you that the grouping does matter.
Yes, and Morgan Cox goes to the Titans. The Titans with Nick Folk. I'm a Titans fan. Guys, we missed one field goal last year. We had our best kicking season in years, okay? So Morgan Cox, yes, he is on my list. You guys can come at me all day, but the long snap, a great long snapper is the most underrated player on the team. And Morgan Cox is the greatest long snapper in history.
Okay. How close are we to number one? Where did Morgan Cox get to?
He's at number 7. I'm at number 6 now. And
have to move faster.
All right, sorry. Doesn't need much explanation, but Alvin Kamara gained over 1,000 yards for the 7th straight year last year, but he is showing some signs of slippage. So, but that's why he's down at number 6, but he's still top 10.
I got Trey Smith, Hendon Hooker, Jalen Hyatt, Alvin Kamara on your fave VFL in the NFL. Mine's Alvin Kamara. I've never covered a junior college kid, and I know he got in trouble in Vegas, and I'm not condoning that, but I've never covered a guy from junior college that also didn't get as much playing time as he should, that just smiled all the time and was great to work with. And he went through a lot to get to that point. So I've got big time respect for him. I hope he's not around the wrong people. And I'll just leave it at that. Who's up next?
I totally agree. Up next, and this is a projection, but Darnell Wright, most physically gifted offensive lineman, maybe ever from Tennessee in the NFL, starting at tackle again for the Bears. I think a breakout year at number 5.
Hey now.
Absolutely. I agree.
Number 4, Alontae Taylor, been a starting cornerback for 3 years. Tennessee is kind of cornerback you too. They have Emmanuel Mosley, Cam Sutton, Mika Abernathy, Theo Jackson, all in the pros. Sutton is suspended for 8 games, though. The other 2 are reserve guys. Alontae Taylor is becoming more and more of an important player. He's entering his 3rd year. I think he could be a star.
Yeah, I think you could argue right now Alontae Taylor is the best player out of this group. Or if you could pick one to be on your football team, that would be it, because he plays corner, one of the 3 most important positions on the field.
I totally agree. He's not the guy I have number 1. Really, you're right, because the guy that you're going to see at number 1, you wouldn't pick him number 1 because of his position, but Alontae Taylor I would take over him because of the fact that he plays corner. Totally agree. Number 3,
by the way, record number of people in the YouTube message board. So please hit the like button. Take 1 second and do that. Make sure you're subscribed. And also, if you don't mind, turn those notifications on. You'll hear from Cooper Mays a little bit later in the day. All right, go ahead, Caleb.
Number 3, he's a 7-year starter in the NFL, and last year, after starting for 7 years, finally had his first Pro Bowl and All-Pro season, and that was Jalen Reeves-Maybin with the Detroit Lions at linebacker. Jalen Reeves-Maybin is a very reliable player, very smart player, one of those players that helped carry Tennessee during the Butch Jones disaster years that really kept them afloat for 2 9-win seasons. So Jalen Reeves-Maybin, number 3.
I love Jalen Reeves-Maybin. Good player. Would he start on this team?
He might. Between Arian Carter, Keenan Peele, he could probably beat out one of those guys.
He would have been a good Mike. He's not as physically gifted as Arian Carter, in my opinion. All right, who's number 1?
Yep. Well, number 2 for the record is Trey Smith, and does that need any explanation? Contract year for him. He's already been great, and he's going to be amazing this year. So
going to get paid.
Number 1 is the best rookie. Is the guy who had the best rookie season for a Tennessee player since Alvin Kamara himself, Byron Young. With the Rams, he had 8 sacks as a rookie last year. He should take a huge leap forward this year. By the way, Darrell Taylor and Derek Barnett just missed the list. Both 2 good edge rushers. Tennessee's also edge rusher. Byron Young, Dave, is a superstar, and we're always talking about James Pierce, but Byron Young seems like the guy who started the trend of edge rushers in the pros under Josh Heupel.
He had 8 sacks last year?
Yeah, he was all rookie, 8 sacks.
Wow.
With the Rams.